Hey guys, welcome back to the Book Rookie. I'm Karen, and today we're going to be doing a LitTrip haul from part one of my Austin trip. So I spent way too much money on this trip, and I'm like way too excited for it. Like I have no regrets. So we're going to be talking about the 4 stores that I went to on the first day in Austin. So let's get started. So the first store that we went to was Monkeywrench Books. Of course, I've told you guys about that. It's a radical bookstore. The first zine that I got is We're Trying to Destroy the World, Anti-Blackness and Police Violence After Ferguson, an interview with Frank B. Wilderson III. Frank B. Wilderson III is actually a professor of drama and African American studies at UC Irvine. This was recommended to me by one of the staff at Monkeywrench, or I should say one of the volunteers at Monkeywrench, because it's entirely volunteer based. I'm excited to read this. Of course, Ferguson is still a kind of lingering event. A lot of the events that happened in Ferguson are still very fresh on our minds. So I'm very interested to get into this. The second zine that I got was Jane, Documents from Chicago's Clandestine Abortion Service from 1968 to 1973. This is something that I've never heard of. I didn't know that this even existed. And so when I saw this on the shelf, I was just like, yes, that makes sense. A couple of these zines were actually free. Like I said in my last video, they had some free literature. This next one is going to be an interesting read. It's, sorry for the glare, it's Women, Witch Hunts, and the Reproduction of the Capitalist World, a conversation with Sylvia Federici. This is going to be a conversation of reproductive rights. So none of these, I don't think, zines aren't really published per se, so you can't find them on Goodreads or anything, but these will be really fun to read. Actually, I'm thinking about doing kind of like a zine fest, a little bit like Novellathon, where I just kind of like read all of my zines and talk about them on this channel. So the last zine that I got is A Primer for Understanding Prison Abolition. It doesn't seem to have an author. Prison rights, I guess is the right term, is something that I'm very interested in. I read Angela Davis's Are Prisons Obsolete a few years ago, and I absolutely loved it. It really piqued my interest, and it's something that has continued. This is just something that straight off the bat, when I saw the title, it was something that I wanted to read. So the book that I got in Monkeywrench is Afro Paradise. Man, this glare is just terrible. Blackness, Violence, and Performance in Brazil. So by Kristen A. Smith. So this book is beautiful. Of course, it's very well published. I picked this up because the book is pretty, but mostly because it's a book about the tourist attraction that is Brazil. You know, it's very beautiful, it's very luscious, and this is about the violence that happens underneath, especially to the Black population, and the performance of a paradise, when in reality Brazil is still a very dangerous place to be. And so kind of like these two worlds that exist, this kind of tourist attraction and then this kind of underlying violence. So this is something I would love to get to this book this year, because I'm just really pumped about it right now. So the second store that we went to was Breakaway Records. I had so much fun in this store. I was also very overwhelmed. There's a certain amount of guilt that goes into me buying records, but when I saw this, I knew I had to have it. This is Betty Davis's, I think it's just Betty Davis. I think the album is just called Betty Davis. She is super hot. Like, how do you... Fun fact, did you know that Nasty Gal was named after one of Betty Davis's songs? Meh. So I got this record. We listened to it yesterday. It was fantastic. Love the funk. Gotta love it. I'm super tired. Betty Davis, you know, switching it up, not just doing the books today, doing a little bit of music. The second thing I got from Breakaway Records was this cassette tape. It is Tracy Chapman. This is, I guess this is also self-titled. This is the one with Fast Car on it. That song just, so it's classic. Classic. If I was on a desert island and I had like 5 songs that I could listen to on repeat, Fast Car would be one of them. I love Tracy Chapman. I grew up on her. Love her. So I'm really excited about this. So as you guys know, I absolutely loved Austen comics and books. It was really hard for me to figure out which books to purchase because there were just so many in there. Danny Danger convinced me to get 3 specific books. So the first one is Sunstone Volume 1. She told me that this, the artist actually started out on DeviantArt, and it just, the story and the artwork became so popular that they were able to turn it into a graphic novel series, which is just extremely popular. It is a BDSM love story between 2 women, and it's apparently just absolutely amazing. I haven't picked it up yet, but I'm definitely looking forward to how they treat sexuality in this book. You know, there's a lot of talk about BDSM with the 50 Shades of Grey, which of course was not an accurate depiction of BDSM. It was more of an abusive relationship. Apparently they treat it very, very well in this book. I don't know how to pronounce his name, so I'm not even going to try out of respect. So anyway, I will read this and let you guys know what I think. The next book has been going around BookTube and among comic book nerds. This is Miss Marvel No Normal by Wilson and Alfona. So this is a Marvel series about a Pakistani superhero. That is about the extent that I know, but my family that I was staying with is Arab, and one of them said that this was actually a very accurate depiction of Arab families. So this is something, I mean, it's very thin. It'll be easy to get to. I say I'm excited about all of my books. Like, I don't really know how, I need to work on explaining like my levels of excitement, but I guess I'm like excited about everything. Everything makes me happy. So the last book that I got at Austen Books and Comics was Uzumaki, Spiral into Horror. So this is a horror graphic novel about spirals. I don't really know much more than that. I don't think that I want to know much more than that before I read this. Danny Danger said that she wasn't able to drain her bathtub because she was afraid of the spiral that would happen after this. That says something. This is a manga, so this, of course, goes in the opposite direction than all of us in America are used to. And I haven't read manga since elementary school. It's been a really long time. So I'm really excited for this to be kind of my start back into that genre of books. So the last store that I went to was Dragon's Lair Comics and Books. And these 4 graphic novels I got entirely because they were pretty and because they stuck out to me on the shelf. So the first one is Rasputin, The Road to the Winter Palace. This is a retelling of the story of the real-life Rasputin in Russia. It seems like it's kind of like a sci-fi, fantasy, horror, all the genres kind of book. Again, I don't know much more than that, and I'm very excited to start this one. The next one I got, you guys will understand why I got this. Just look at that cover. Just look at the artwork. It's like, let's just say it. It's like Adventure Time. It's called Headlopper and the Island, or a Plague of Beasts. So I don't know what that means. This will be a fun one to read. This next book I got, it was a recommended read from one of the staff members, you know, on the staff picks section. It's called Last Sons of America. This is about a world in which all of the women in America have become infertile, and so children are seen as resources. And so this is set in Mexico and follows two brothers who are adoption agents. Basically, they adopt children from very poor families and send them to families in America, to rich families in America. Some of the trickery that goes on is that a lot of other agents, quote unquote, will actually kidnap children. So it's a very dark and kind of twisted book. It's probably a little bit dark because it hits kind of close to home when it comes to discussions about class and race. The last one, I'm so excited to show you guys this one because I'd never heard of this before. Maybe you guys have, but it is just gorgeous. How to Be Happy by Eleanor Davis. She wrote and did the artwork for this book, and it is just fantastic. I mean, look at the coloring. It's just so well done. I actually already read this book, and I am putting this with some of my favorite books about mental health and kind of existence and the need to be loved. So this was a little bit pricey, but it was totally worth it. I'm so happy with it, and I will be discussing this book in the future. So that is only day one. I bought all of these things in one day. So you can imagine that I spent just a lot of money on this trip. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I will be back again with another LitTrip video about Austin. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. I will talk to you guys soon. Bye!